again. I hope you all are doing well. This is lesson number 3 of Bible, week 1, lesson number 3, and this is titled Lesson 109. With this one, you will need page 161, 162 of your worksheets, and we will get to this after our story. Today, we finally get to talk about the good part, the great part of our story. This is Jesus rising from the dead. He is risen. Again, with Easter and everything coming up, this is the great part. This is the part we celebrate. However, it's necessary to have the not so fun stuff to talk about, right? The cross and Jesus's death. But that's necessary for the whole good news, right? Now this is the good part. This is the fun part. So let's dive right in. All right. Just after sunrise on the first day of the week, some women who loved Jesus came to the garden and approached the tomb. Remember, Jesus, is dead and buried in the tomb, and there's a big stone in front of it. His body was laying where his body had laid. They brought perfumes and spices to put on Jesus' body. This was custom for that time with burials, is to come back once a body was deceased, and they would put perfumes and spices on it to help make it smell better. They wondered how they would move the stone. But when they arrived, they were surprised to see that the huge stone had already been rolled away. They looked into the tomb. What do you think they saw? Was Jesus there laying? No, he wasn't. It was empty. It was completely empty. The women were afraid. Why do you think they're afraid? All right, let's think about that as we continue reading. Think about why they might be afraid. Mary Magdalene ran to find Simon Peter and John as the other women stood there, perplexed, meaning confused. Luke writes that 2 men in shining garments who stood in front of the women. They were angels who said, "Why do you seek the living among the dead? Why are you looking for the living among the dead? He's not here. He is risen." Then the angels asked the women if they remembered what Jesus had said to them. The Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men to be crucified and then rise again on the what day? 3rd day, yes. The women remembered that Jesus had said that. Then Mary Magdalene went and told Simon Peter and John about the empty tomb. Peter and John ran to the garden. John reached the tomb first, but he stopped outside. Peter rushed right in, and inside he found the linen cloth that had covered Jesus' face, folded up and set aside from the rest of the grave clothes. So there was the grave clothes there, and then there was also the garments that covered his face. When Peter and John saw these things, they were sure that Jesus had risen. Peter and John left, but Mary Magdalene stood outside the tomb weeping. She bent over to look into the tomb once more and saw 2 angels inside. They asked her why she was weeping. Why is she crying? She said to them, "Because they have taken away my Lord, and I don't know where they have laid him." So remember, she's still not processing. She's still not thinking Jesus has risen from the dead like he said he would. She turned around and saw someone, but didn't know that he was Jesus. She thought he was the gardener. Jesus asked her, "Why are you crying? Who are you looking for?" Mary asked where Jesus' body was. Then Jesus called her by name, and she immediately recognized him. So at that moment, when he called her by name, she knew she was looking at Jesus. She called Jesus Rabboni, which means master. Jesus told her to go tell the disciples that she had seen him. Jesus was going back up to heaven to be with his Father, but first he would meet them in Galilee. Mary hurried to tell them the good news. Right, that is the end of our story. So, why were the women going to the tomb early in the morning? Why were they first originally going there? Remember, they were bringing perfumes and spices to put on Jesus's body, okay, as was custom of that time. What did they find when they arrived? Did they find what they were expecting? Did they find Jesus's dead body laying there? No, they found the stone rolled open and Jesus was not there. The tomb was empty. Why do you think the angels moved the stone from the entrance of the tomb? Why couldn't the angels just have been there and said, hey guys, when Mary Magdalene and the other women came, why didn't the angels just say, hey, guess what? Jesus isn't back in here in the tomb anymore. He's risen. Do you think the stone was rolled away so that they could see for themselves? They had a first eye account of Jesus's body no longer being there, so that then they could tell other people, look, I saw with my own eyes, Jesus is risen. What did Mary Magdalene do? Did she ran and told Peter, but did she believe at first that Jesus had risen, or was she still thinking, someone's stolen the body, we have to figure out who's stolen his body? And what message did the angels give to the other women? Remember what they said? They said, why are you looking for the living among the dead? Jesus is not here, he's risen, right? And who arrived at the tomb next? John and Peter. Remember, those are two of the disciples. They were very close to Jesus, and so they came running to the tomb when Mary came to get them. And what did they find there? They found the clothes wrapped, folded neatly, right? But no body. Jesus was not there. When Mary Magdalene returned, who spoke to her? First, there was two angels, and then Jesus himself, right? Remember, he called her by name, and that is when she finally understood and finally recognized Jesus. And what did Mary call Jesus? Do you remember what she said? She said, Rabboni, which means master. All right. Now take a look at your page 161. What you are going to do here is it says, let me see here, it says cut out the figures and the storage pocket below, which is this. So cut out the figures, each of these, and the storage pocket below. And right here you see you have a scene. What is this the scene of? The empty tomb with the stone rolled away, right? So what you're going to do is glue the storage pocket to the back of this page right here, okay? You're going to glue here, here, and here. And it's going to be an open pocket up there. That's where you'll be able to put these little figures afterwards. You'll put them in here like a pocket, right? Okay, so make sure you only glue 3 of the 4 sides, okay? All right, so then what you're going to do is you have these little characters here. You are going to retell the Bible account, placing them on the scene like I just read to you, okay? Now, I don't want you to turn this assignment back in as well. What I'd like you to do is retell this Bible account to your family, or retell it to a sibling, maybe a younger sister or brother, or even an older sister or brother. Just retell this story using the scene and using your figures, okay? And you do not have to send an email or a picture or anything like that with this one for credit. I just trust that you will do this. You will have fun retelling this story because this is good news that is meant to be shared, right? All right, love you guys, and I will talk to you later. Bye.